This is the opposition leader, Sussan Ley. She's speaking at the Royal Perth show. We'll just have to take our viewers there.
And the terror and the toxic hatred that underpins this hideous anti-Semitism. Now, we do need to draw a line in the sand when it comes to the protests that we continue to see in this country that are, at this point in time, completely counterproductive. They do come from a position of division and hatred, and that is not acceptable. And it certainly isn't acceptable for the Sydney Opera House to be used as a backdrop for protests. And that is expected and planned for next week, in the week where Jewish Australians will be thinking of the greatest loss of life since the Holocaust after the events of October the 7th, 2023. Our Opera House should be a place that brings people together, a place of unity, not division and not hate. Enough is enough. Everyone involved thinking of protesting should remember this. There is a US brokered peace plan on the table. It is our best chance of peace in this troubled region. We all want to see the hostages released, the water end, humanitarian aid to reach the people of Gaza, and an enduring peace to be put in place. And that's where all of our efforts and our will and our investment should be, not in sowing the seeds of division and hate. Finally, on the tragedy of the O failures and the ongoing failures of the Communications Minister, Annika Wells. Now today, the Communications Minister, Annika Wells, had an op-ed in the Financial Review talking about the things she was going to do as Communications Minister. That's really not good enough. What we need to see from this minister is a plan that holds to account everyone, everywhere, telcos, regulator, her own government, inside the O ecosystem, finds out what went wrong. And we also need the Communications Minister to offer Australians an apology. Australians who, in 2025, not 1925, have every expectation that when they dial O in a life-saving, in an emergency situation, that somebody will be there to help them. And as we enter summer with fires, with floods, and who knows what events, we do need to be absolutely confident that our emergency services, who stand ready and do incredible work, can actually be reached on O. And I'm waiting for an apology from the Communications Minister, or certainly an explanation about why the recommendations of a 2023 review, and this all happened before, have not been implemented. We expect an apology, we expect a plan, we expect a minister who steps up. And while she's at it, she could say sorry for travelling to New York on a jaunt when families were desperately concerned about the future of the O system. So that's something we will be prosecuting when we return to Canberra, to continue to argue passionately for Australians, hardworking Australians, who do what they do in this state, which is to work hard, spend time away from their families, and add to the great prosperity of Western Australia. Happy to take questions.
How much has health come up as an issue during the time anyway?
Well, interestingly, I spoke to Basil about this a couple of days ago, and he's been making the case very strongly when you look at the ambulance ramping figures in WA, and I then see that the Prime Minister is crab walking away from a commitment he made in 2023 that he would give state governments ongoing certainty with 5-year funding agreements. This is what we did in government, but we've got a Prime Minister now who's stepping away from that. And if you're a state government, then you actually immediately have to make calculations about how much less operations are, on the elective surgery list, what you might have to do with hospital beds, what you might have to do with staffing, what you might have to do to actually prevent and address what are increasingly severe ambulance ramping statistics. Now, if Premier Cook is such a good friend of Anthony Albanese, and he tells everyone he is, he should be on the phone right now in the interests of the people of Western Australia on this very important issue.